I know it is your first time at the Design Thinking Symposium, and this Design Thinking Research Symposium in particular is grounded in a clear conviction that design thinking remains a powerful and enduring framework for contemporary practice. What is your take of that?
Well, I suppose I would have to admit to being a bit of a fanatic zealot on the subject of design thinking. It was very new to me. I grew up in a traditional business environment. My MBA and my PhD is in strategy. I've always taught strategy. And when I found design thinking, someone in one of my seminars said recently, I felt like I had been carrying around a lock my entire life, and you handed me the key. And that's, so I feel kind of intensely that design thinking is one of the core sets of capabilities that everyone, business, nonprofit, parents, right, that everyone in the world can benefit from.
And it's your first time speaking to this kind of researchers that, as Katja Timmel, who co-chaired this symposium, would put it, are very much grounded in design thinking one. I think that is what she calls the cognitive process of designers, grounded in the crafts and art of designers. And she mentions design thinking two being the moment or the generation where design thinking has been discovered, unlocked, as you would say, by business strategists, probably marketed really well by a design agency in California. And what she coins design thinking 3 is the one where we realized that design thinking can also be applied to societal change, to complex, wicked problems, to tackling more broad issues that are maybe for nonprofit organizations and so on. Today they are thinking about what could be design thinking 4, AI coming on, challenging some of the jobs that designers used to do. Do you think that is why it's so important to have strong voices like yours in this room of these traditional designers?
Well, it's been interesting to be part of the conversation with traditional designers. And in some ways, it's really sharpened for me my own perspectives and where I fall. Because, clearly there's a continuum of beliefs in the room. And at one extreme are people who believe that design belongs to designers, and that any attempt to use it on broader audiences kind of oversimplifies it and demeans it and things like that.
And hijacks it.
There seem to be a group of people in the middle who believe that there is a role for broader, but still see the designer themselves as kind of the core of what's going on. I've realized that I fall at the other extreme. And not even just about organizations. I think, in fact, the design thinking ways of thinking and behaving are so fundamental to creating more positive futures, whether they're in a profit organization or in government or a nonprofit or at home with our own families. I think these ways of being with others are so important that everyone should learn it. I mean, in the US, there's school children learning it. I mean, there are whole elementary schools that are quite devoted to it. So I find myself very much on the extreme of my beliefs about design thinking. And my own personal belief is the more AI comes onto the scene, the more critical the human dimension that design thinking brings is. I mean, I think back over my life and the enormous improvements on the technical side in the world of technology. I mean, think about it. When my daughter was learning to drive, she didn't have a cell phone, so I spent half my time worrying, standing by the door, wondering whether she was safe and if she was okay.
And now we can track her location.
Oh, and my dissertation is on about 25 different floppy disk drives, because you could only fit 8 pages of Word in those days. And now, look, we have in our hand an amount of computing power that used to take up blocks and blocks of multi-story buildings.
So can we now focus on the human capabilities and the human intelligences?
Well, I think we have to, because the other question I would ask is, you compare those enormous strides in technology with the utter lack of any progress on how we communicate with each other as humans. In some ways, I would argue we're getting worse. I mean, things like social media, when you look at the kind of polarizing effects and the kind of devastating effects on young people, I mean, our ability to talk to each other, particularly our ability to talk about difference, is so much worse, I think, than it used to be, that without the kind of what I think of as the social technology of design thinking to complement the digital technology in our world, I think we're really lost without it.
Let's go back to the two optimistic chairs of this design thinking symposium who believe that AI might help us go back to the roots of design thinking, because the prototyping and the testing and many of the activities that used to take so long can now be done with the help of this new technology. So potentially we could now move more towards the empathy part and stakeholder negotiation part and understanding what is the actual problem, framing and reframing the problem, which obviously is absolutely important in the field of policy design, right? Not and in the field of organizational design, but especially for policy design, taking that time to really engage all stakeholders, create those dialogues, facilitate those dialogues. Do you agree with this very optimistic view on AI?
Well, I'm a believer in optimism. I think the mark of all of the leaders of successful change that I've seen are that they manage to hold a hope for a better future while telling the truth about the reality of today. So that ability to speak the truth about how challenging it is and how terrible it is today, and at the same time maintain that hope and that energy about creating a better future, that to me is the essence of everything, of how we continue to move forward in the face of challenge, and we don't ever want to lose it. Having said that, the evidence would be that we're going to bastardize AI and use it the easy way, and it's going to end up making it harder and harder for people to be human beings. This is what I worry about. I mean, look at students. I mean, it
Well,
certainly
in the US,
encourages us all to be
have,
lazy.
Yes, and in the US, you have a lot of backlash on AI.
Well, as educators, you can no longer hold students to a level of quality control in their work because you literally don't know if it's their work, and we can't tell. We don't have the sophistication yet to tell. And if you believe, for instance, that people should be able to construct their own paragraphs without having AI do it for them, then as a teacher, you're very alarmed at our inability to hold students to standards. I mean, I worry that we reward laziness. Right? It's the easy way out. We live in a world where people take the easy way out, and that's my fear with AI. At the same time, the hope is we will do a better job of implementing AI than we've done with all the other initiatives that came along, and not allow technology to control us and tell us where to go. Instead, we will control it. And I think that will be the telltale sign. Do we have our own purpose and meaning and use technology in service to that purpose or meaning? Or do we allow technology to set its own purpose and meaning, and we just fall in line behind it?
So can we use our abilities to negotiate that purpose and meaning between managers, policymakers, designers, civil society, so that we can articulate that purpose and meaning in the right manner to then use AI or technology for the implementation and for the good?
Exactly, and that's the social technology argument that we've cycled back to, right? If we don't offer a social technology that will allow us to use digital technology in ways that benefit humanity, then we are indeed in big trouble. So for me, design thinking regardless of what we call it. And I'm not all that sure that we benefit much from calling it design thinking always, but regardless of what you call it, these basic skills and capabilities and ways of thinking and behaving that design thinking brings are, to me, much more important today than they were 10 years ago.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.